Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connecting the Dots with Dr. Ashaye, a great place to be if you desire to take charge of your health so you can live fully and while enjoying doing what you love. So, all of last month, we've been discussing practical tips for health transformation. And today I'm so excited because we have a special guest, Tracie Jenkins. And Tracie is one of my patients, and she's been very successful in transforming her health. And she's graciously agreed to come and share her journey with us. So we all know this is not a one-size-fits-all deal, but our goal today, hopefully, is to inspire or encourage someone listening to start their own health transformation and to show you that it's possible for you too. So before we get into it, you're listening to Connecting the Dots with Dr. Ashaye. I'm Lola Ashaye. I'm a family medicine and lifestyle medicine doctor and owner of InTouch Primary Care in Sugar Land, Texas. And here we help you more easily become and remain healthy with direct access to a doctor, proactive health care. So if you're tired of a reactive approach to your health and desire to build a healthier lifestyle, then our services are perfect for you. All right, so let's get right into it, Tracie. Thank you for being here.
Of course.
So I want to go, start off by asking, can you share with our listeners your health status prior to starting this journey and what your health is now?
I will start with the data. I wrote down basically where I was generally last year, which is the most that I've weighed ever, I'm going to say. In toward the end of August last year, I weighed 226 pounds. And as the last time I saw you, which is July 16th of this year, I weighed 168.5 pounds. So I've lost over 57 pounds in a little less than a year, but that is I've never gone through anything like this where I had to lose, or I say had to lose so much weight, but basically it's trying to prevent other issues that come with weight and the way I was carrying it, and then also genetic issues in my family.
Yes. And yeah, you
And
mentioned,
I was going to say I still have a goal because I got one more month. Technically, with the the road that I'm going now, but my ultimate goal is to lose somewhere between 18 and 24 more pounds. So that's my where it reached like my optimum goal, but I lost a
yeah.
lot already.
And even beyond the weight, tell me about the other health things that happened in this almost a year period.
Right. So when I was talking to you last, basically I say 2018 is about when I started paying any real attention to health, what I was eating. My family and I were watching some documentaries like What the Health and Forks Over Knives, and it just kind of went into the manufacturing of produce in America and what's happening corporately, and how that's affecting the food that we eat. GMOs, whether the question is, are they harmful or not? But it did kind of make me want to go back to eating actual food, fresh food, and then that led down its own journey. But specifically, I'm looking at food and what is food, because there are a lot of things that I was eating that are food like products, but they weren't actual food. And most people have probably heard that processed foods are not good for you. There's a lot of things that are created in labs and maybe don't necessarily occur naturally in nature, or the way that they occur in nature is with other things that help your body process it naturally. And then we have extract those things and put it in something else. So I've been moving away from eating a lot of processed foods and moving more towards eating fresh foods, whole foods. And it's still a journey because it's hard to get away from processed foods completely in the way that we live. Like just the other day, I made gnocchi and tomato sauce. And although I didn't buy the tomato sauce in a jar itself, I mean, I use butter, I use tomatoes, but it was canned whole tomatoes that's technically processed. Butter that I didn't make myself, technically processed, right? And an onion, which you know, it was from the farmer's market. So that was like the one thing that was not processed. And so, but still, there's some things that I'm not having to have in there, that's helpful to kind of avoid. The
Yeah,
gnocchi process, technically processed, but I do try to look on the back of it and be like, how many ingredients are there in there? Are there too many things that I can't pronounce? Is it
right.
more than if it's 5 or less ingredients? I'm kind of all in on it. So the canned tomatoes just had tomatoes in it.
So, so that's, no, that's great. So all the things that you're learning, you're pretty much put into action, making sure that you're, keeping right on track in terms of what you eat. So that's great. And I think also there were some changes in your blood pressure and also your labs. Do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yes, I actually wrote that data down as well, because ultimately my goal was, okay, I don't want to be on all these meds. I want to be able to be removed from it. So in the documentaries, and then also my sister, there's the idea of like food as medicine. So I love eating. It'd be great to just eat and be well. So I'd rather just eat and not have to take pills in order to be well. So high blood pressure runs in my family on both sides. And so there's a genetic predisposition to that. And then carrying the extra weight doesn't help. And then eating with a lot of salt and all that stuff and it does not help as well. But previously, around the end of August 28th of last year, my blood pressure was 138/90, which was still lower than what it was before. Because even before that, this is on the meds, which there's 2 that I'm taking to manage the blood pressure. Even before there, it was like 145/90 something. I mean, we were trying to get it down to 145/90. That was the goal. So I started at 138/90. And then as of July 16th of this year, last recorded blood pressure with you was 119/79, which is, I didn't even know it could get that low.
Right.
So who knew that was normal? So that's where that came from. And then BMI went from 85 BMI to 71, and 40.9 to 71. And then my what else? I don't know. All the numbers are going in the down, which is a good direction to go. There was a general direction that they're going, which was good. I was looking at my heart rate too. My heart rate even went down. So it's like my heart isn't even as stressed.
Yep.
I don't know. That can be connected to a lot of things, but all the numbers are looking much better than what they were a year ago.
Well, you're exercising regularly too, so that's where the heart rate is going to be lower. So, yes.
You know, more regularly than I did before. I can still work. That's an area of improvement that I can work
Well,
on.
certainly much more physical activity than before. You're just doing it creatively. So that's and so we're going to jump to the next question and actually talk more about that because someone is listening right now and they are seeking to transform their health. They've heard what you said. You've lost about 25% of your body weight. And you've done this successfully. You've done this. And so what are the top 3 things that you think helped you on your journey? And what do you think are things that if someone was listening and they're trying to do the same for themselves, what do you think they should consider?
Well, the first thing I have to acknowledge is that I had a medical intervention or a personal intervention. My mother said, you're carrying too much weight. You're getting older. There's all these kind of things that could possibly happen. So other than the high blood pressure, she was saying there's other things that can happen. So we went a controversial route, which is to use the assist semaglutide. That is not the main thing. There's a lot of people who have negative things to say about it. And like you were saying, it's not one size fits all. I think if you're in it predisposed, this is just my layman's opinion. If you're predisposed to certain things, if you're carrying a lot of weight, yes, it will take a long time to lose that weight on your own. It's possible. People have done it. But if it's like, okay, you need to jumpstart this, which is what semaglutide did for me, that was good for me. In addition to the 3 things that I would mention, which is eating good food, real food. So it's hard, I guess, to know what real food is. I put this book here this is one of, I don't know if you, wait, can you see what that book is?
Now we can see a little bit. So I see, can you just, we'll put it in the
Will you back
caption.
here where I am? It's Food Rules by
Yeah.
Michael Pollan. And Michael Pollan said, basically, eat food, not too much, mostly vegetables. Really simple mantra. And if you're eating mostly vegetables, it's not going to usually be processed. Like if you go back to what the vegetable looks like, instead of corn that's already in a can, corn on the cob, and it's not hard to just like cut it off. Even frozen corn, like when it's flash frozen, is like a lot easier. So that means less takeout because I start cooking for myself. And the one thing that helped me, because people are like, cooking takes too much time, is I have an Instant Pot. It was a gift. I did not buy an Instant Pot, but it was a gift from my stepmother-in-law, and it's one of the best gifts she ever gave me, because it is an Instant Pot. It's in the name. It helps food that you mostly want to eat get done really quickly, and there's tons of recipes for that. So I've got a bunch of cookbooks now. But it's really easy because I just put in Instant Pot. The second thing is paying attention to what I eat, because I didn't know I was eating a lot of things or eating X amount of things after 7 p.m. I have an app that helps me to do that. It's called Fitness Pal, and you don't need an app. You could just have a food journal, which people talk about. Simply even paying attention to it made me eat less, because I was like, I already ate this much today. I think I'm just going to stop now. And then I was also focusing on the caloric deficit too. So once I got to a certain amount of calories, I was like, I'm not really hungry. I'm good. I'm just bored. I'm going to do something else instead of eating. And then the third thing I would say is it's really helpful to have a support group, people, partners in your success, people to report to. I mean, whenever I got my BP, whenever I leave from your office, I call my mom and be like, Mom, this is what my BP is. And she's healthcare adjacent. She'd be like, that's great, you know? So I can send someone my report card or tell them about my successes. And then they kind of pat me on the back and encourage me to keep going. So that was really helpful. And one more thing I would say under that one is I learned this from Noom, which some people may know. It's like a weight loss program, which gives you like a whole way of thinking about tough situations. And one of them is like unintentional saboteurs. Like when in the office, it's like, oh, free donut day. or you have friends who are like, you're losing too much weight, you need to eat a burger. They're not, I would say they're not probably not trying to sabotage your weight loss, but they don't realize that that can lead down a whole other thing. Even though I have, forgiveness for myself, I'm like, okay, if I fall off the wagon, get back on. And getting to this point means I have a lot more leeway to say, oh, I want a burger, and it's not going to ruin everything. But sometimes there's people who are just like, oh, get that, eat this. Why are you not eating such and such? You eat too many salads. Like they're just, change is tough, not just for me, but sometimes for people around me. So I have to be like, no. I'm fine with this. I don't need another, I don't need another helping. I'm okay.
Yeah, this is,
Those are the three things that I would say.
yes, thank you for sharing. I mean, I took notes. I mean, I hope if you're listening, you're taking notes. So number one, eat food. And we talked about that. She talked about that earlier. We've talked about that a lot in our other episodes. Tracking is so powerful. And that's something we've talked about a lot in our episodes as well. So tracking, paying attention to what you're eating really makes a difference. Having a support group, very, very important. And identifying things that could sabotage your progress. So being on the lookout, they are going to happen. There are going to be many, many opportunities to sabotage. So you just need to understand it ahead of time, and so that you can easily identify when it happens. So thank you. Those are really, really great tips. And so I hope somebody hears that and, starts to implement them. All right. So next thing I wanted to ask you, mindset. Mindset is huge. It's a huge factor when it comes to making any change in life. How have you been able to keep a healthy mindset?
That has also been a long journey. There's a lot of things, but I have another book that's been really helpful. I'm gonna bring it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it's this book. Can you see it?
That was, yep. They can see it.
There's a ton in that book about just how to it's basically about making small changes towards a larger goal, because a lot of times think like beginning of the year, you make a resolution. It's like, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds. Like that's a huge goal. And you go to the gym and you jog for like 3 miles. And it's like, oh, you have 200 calories and you're like, that's not even a whole meal. So then it's very discouraging if it's just like, oh, it seems like it's too big. But I don't even think about it that way. It's just like, hey, there are little things. I say, who am I? I'm an active person. So every single thing that I do that is active just puts a check in that box and reinforces that identity. And so, small little changes that lead to a larger difference. That book has been really helpful. The other thing is, like you said, and reinforce tracking success, because it helps me to pat myself on the back whenever I can put a check box and be like, I, did this 3 days in a row or for the whole week, every day I was supposed to.
Yep.
And then being forgiving of myself if, say I do get, I'm not even really into cookies. That's my husband's thing. Maybe if I do get an extra helping, or I do eat a burger twice in a week, it's like, that's fine. I'm gonna eat a salad twice next week. It's gonna be okay. Everything isn't ruined. The whole plan is not just thrown down. I can just keep going from wherever it is that I am. So I'm trying to just be very forgiving and be like, okay, well, we'll just get back on track and then keep going from there.
Great. Yeah. So thank you for sharing that. The mindset is huge. And I think something, I don't know if all our listeners have noticed, like Tracie has surrounded herself with health information that is positive, that is helpful. And that is so huge in this transformation. Like what we hear affects everything. So, when you're going to start this journey, you want to surround yourself with the books, surround yourself with materials, surround yourself with people who are speaking what you need to hear, because the more you hear it, the more likely it is that you stay on course. So thank you for sharing that. All right. So you decided to come to us at InTouch Primary Care as part of your transformation. How have our services helped you?
Well, one, whenever I'm talking to you, sometimes I'm like, is it just me? Am I the only one thinking this way? I don't know. But I appreciate that you let me just kind of talk about what it is that I'm thinking, and then have affirmation for you. Yeah, you're headed in the right direction. That's a great way to think about it. That sort of thing. Affirmation really helps. Yes, I can affirm myself, but it's really helpful hearing from a medical professional, like, you are focusing on the right things. Because if it were my husband, he would just kill himself in the gym. He would just be like on the stair climber. I'm like, you want to be on that death machine? Okay, if that's your life choice. But me, I don't like the gym, so I've been focusing more on food. And I was like, well, everyone just says you just have to work really hard in the gym. You have to do it. And I'm like, am I doing the wrong thing? You're like, no, actually, it's 80-20. It's great that you're focusing on things you're putting into your body. That is going to do a lot of heavy lifting. Is it important to get into the gym? Absolutely. But I don't feel bad. I don't feel like, oh, I'm doing the wrong things. If I'm like, okay, this is what I can focus on right now, because food matters a lot to me. And so I know that I'm going in the right direction. And then the other thing is, being on semaglutide, me personally, it wasn't a weight loss thing. It was about health, and losing weight just happened to be the thing that would lead me to be healthier and have a healthier lifestyle. I feel it. Like I feel lighter. I can move. My feet don't hurt all the time. And so I went that direction, but I don't want to stay on it. Like I said, I don't want to be on meds. I don't want to just be doing this the entire time. I'm not just eating fries and being like, I'm going to lose weight anyway. That's not my intention at all. And so I want to transition off of it. And one of the things that your office does is offers kind of like a direction to go in to transition off. As I mentioned earlier, I still have I still have a chunk to go. I've gone so far, but there's still a part of it that I know mentally I'm going to have to do the rest of this myself. And I'm okay with that. I just wanted to get to a certain point and then be able to continue on, because it's a lifestyle change that I made. I want to live my life in a healthy way. And so I'm like, okay, when I get off semaglutide, what do I do? Well, I don't have to guess about that. You offer a program was like, okay, when you brought it up, I was like, well, that seems like a great off ramp for me when I get off of that. And then I can go into the program where I get group support and I'm learning about nutrition, because that's one thing that's kind of lacking in a lot of health programs, is the nutrition side of it. Because they can help you lose weight, but they can't necessarily have you have a whole idea of how to be healthy on the inside, feeding yourself all the vitamins that you need. So then I can go into that and then continue my journey on without the assistance of that medicine, because that was just for an intervention. That was just like, you need to do something now.
Right.
Otherwise, you're going to die early death, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, we do the thing now, but that's just an intervention. It's not the way I'm going to live the rest of my life.
Yeah. No, that's great. Yeah. And I think, what I always remember, there are a lot of skinny people that are unhealthy. So it's not just about the weight. It really has to be, yes, like you said, the weight helps you become healthy in your case, but there are people that are not overweight, are still not healthy. So really, it has to be much more beyond that. And that's what we try to offer, to explain to people that it's important, regardless of your size, that you're healthy. And so those are the types of things that we help with. So thank you so much, Tracie. This has been great. I hope someone has heard this, and please share this with whoever you might think would need it. This very useful tips here. And if you found this helpful and you're in the Houston area, well, you can act now. You can schedule a 15-minute free consult on our website, or you can use the link in the caption. We're going to be starting the next cohort in September. So if you want to join us, you can schedule that appointment, or you can call us 713-280-9985 to join our waiting list for the Lifestyle Foundation program starting in September. You can learn more about our services at intouchprimarycare.com as well. And again, please, if you haven't yet subscribed. It really helps other people know about us and hear this useful information. So just imagine you start today, you start prioritizing your health, and then 1 year from now, you're sharing your wins with those around you. I mean, just think about how Tracie must feel now. How would you feel making a change that, can be challenging, but not making a change can be very costly. So either way, there's a price to pay. So I hope you choose to improve your health so you can start feeling better, so you have more energy, so you can think clearer. It's really worth it. And I really hope that helps. Thank you, Tracie.
Of course. Thank you. I appreciate it.